Welcome to my channel.
Life is relationships.
Here is a full, knowledgeable report on the huge problems in relationships, structured and expanded upon the points you provided.
A comprehensive report on the huge problems in relationships. Executive summary.
Romantic relationships are a cornerstone of human life, offering companionship, support, and profound emotional fulfillment. However, they are also complex ecosystems vulnerable to a multitude of stressors and dysfunctions. This report synthesizes common, yet significant, relationship problems, categorizing them not as isolated issues but as interconnected challenges. It argues that while these problems are ubiquitous, their resolution, or escalation, often hinges on a few core competencies, primarily communication, trust, and mutual respect. Understanding the nature, causes, and interplay of these issues is the first step toward mitigation and building a resilient partnership.
1. The central nervous system. Communication breakdown. The single most cited issue across relationship research is poor communication. It is less a problem in itself and more a root cause that exacerbates nearly every other issue on this list. Manifestations. This includes a lack of communication, stonewalling, silence, poor communication, criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and assumptive communication, mind reading. Partners may talk at each other rather than with each other, leading to cycles of misunderstanding. Impact. Without effective communication, conflicts remain unresolved, emotional needs go unmet, and intimacy withers. It creates a vacuum where resentment and emotional distance thrive. Interconnection. Poor communication directly fuels conflict, lack of appreciation, trust issues, and parenting issues. 2. The foundation cracks. Trust and fidelity.
Trust is the bedrock of security in a relationship. Its erosion is catastrophic. Infidelity. A profound betrayal that shatters trust. It is not merely a physical act but an emotional deception that tells the betrayed partner they are not enough. Recovery is a long, arduous process that requires absolute transparency and willingness from both parties. Lack of trust issues. While infidelity is an acute cause, trust issues can be chronic. They may stem from past betrayals, personal insecurities, or inconsistent behavior, e.g., secrecy with phones or finances. A relationship without trust is characterized by constant suspicion, jealousy, and interrogation, creating a prison for both partners. 3. The emotional chasm. Intimacy and connection.
Intimacy is the emotional, physical, and intellectual glue that binds partners. Its decline is a slow-acting poison. Emotional distance. Partners become roommates or co-parents rather than lovers and confidants. They stop sharing their inner worlds, fears, dreams, and vulnerabilities. This often stems from unresolved resentment, chronic stress, or simply neglecting the relationship. Sexual problems. These include mismatched libidos, lack of desire, sexual boredom, or physical dysfunction. While common, they become huge problems when couples cannot discuss them openly. Sex is often a barometer of the relationship's overall health. Problems here usually point to deeper issues of emotional distance or unresolved conflict. Lack of appreciation. When partners feel taken for granted, they disengage. Small, consistent acts of acknowledgement and gratitude are vital for emotional fuel. Its absence leads to resentment and the feeling that one's efforts are invisible. 4. The practical pressures, life management and goals.
Even the most loving couples can be torn apart by pragmatic disagreements about how to live life. Money problems. Financial disputes are rarely about the money itself, but about what money represents: security, power, freedom, and values. Disagreements on spending, saving, and financial goals are proxies for deeper conflicts over life priorities and trust. Different life goals. A couple may start aligned, but individuals evolve. Fundamental disagreements about marriage, having children, where to live, career ambitions, or lifestyle choices can create an irreconcilable rift if compromise is impossible. Parenting issues. Disagreements on discipline, education, values, and roles can create factions within the family unit. When parents are not a united team, it undermines their authority and their connection as a couple. Substance abuse. The use of alcohol or drugs to cope creates dependency on a substance rather than the relationship. It leads to broken promises, financial strain, emotional volatility, and neglect, destroying trust and stability. 5. The internal demons, individual baggage and perception.
Many relationship problems originate from within the individuals themselves. Unrealistic expectations. Fueled by media and social media, some partners expect a perpetual honeymoon phase. They may believe their partner should complete them or intuitively know their every need. When reality fails to meet the fantasy, disappointment and blame follow. Jealousy. While occasionally a sign of passion, chronic jealousy is a symptom of deep-seated insecurity and low self-esteem. It is a controlling behavior that suffocates the other partner and is often linked to trust issues. Stress and trauma. External stress from work, family, or health, and unresolved personal trauma, e.g., from childhood or past relationships, are imported into the relationship. An individual's capacity for patience, empathy, and communication is diminished when they are in a chronic state of fight or flight. Boredom. Relationships can fall into predictable, monotonous routines where novelty and excitement vanish. This lack of stimulation can lead to emotional disengagement and make the relationship vulnerable to affairs or a slow, passionless fade. 6. The destructive cycles, conflict and resentment.
Conflict itself is not the problem, it is inevitable. The problem is how conflict is managed. Conflict. Destructive conflict patterns, as identified by researcher John Gottman, include criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Contempt, in particular, sarcasm, eye-rolling, mockery, is the single greatest predictor of relationship breakdown. Unresolved conflict creates a reservoir of resentment that poisons every positive interaction. Conclusion and synthesis.
The huge problems in relationships are not standalone issues but are deeply woven into a complex web. For instance, money problems, practical, lead to conflict, interpersonal, which is poorly handled due to communication problems, core skill, resulting in emotional distance, intimacy, and a lack of trust, foundation. Boredom, internal, can lead to infidelity, trust, which is discovered due to jealousy, internal, exploding into a conflict, interpersonal, that cannot be resolved because of poor communication, core skill. The path to resolving these huge problems is not to find a magic bullet for each one, but to strengthen the relationship's core infrastructure.
1. Prioritize proactive, compassionate communication.
2. Actively rebuild trust and appreciation.
3. Nurture intimacy deliberately. 4. Align on shared goals and values.
5. Manage individual well-being.
The path to resolving these huge problems is not to find a magic bullet for each one, but to strengthen the relationship's core infrastructure. Prioritize proactive, compassionate communication. Learn to speak with I statements, listen to understand, not to rebut, and create a safe space for vulnerability. Actively rebuild trust and appreciation. Be reliable, transparent, and consistently express gratitude for your partner's presence and efforts. Nurture intimacy deliberately. Schedule time for connection, both emotional and physical. Treat the relationship as a living thing that requires ongoing investment. Align on shared goals and values. Have difficult conversations about money, children, and life goals early and revisit them regularly. Manage individual well-being. Take responsibility for your own stress, trauma, and unrealistic expectations. A healthy relationship requires two healthy individuals. Ultimately, while the problems are huge, they are not insurmountable. With self-awareness, courage, and a mutual commitment to growth, couples can navigate these challenges and build a partnership that is not only resilient but also deeply fulfilling. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit that like button and subscribe for more.